Hi, in this short video I will try to explain you the differences between the kinds of pyramids that we use to express and show the feeding relationship in the ecosystems. So far we have described what is in the food web, but we never consider or we never try to quantify this and say how much of anything is there in the food web. So we can do this in terms of numbers of organisms or of living matter, or in terms of energy. So first of all, let's suppose that we can isolate a small area of an ecosystem and look in detail at all the organisms in it. The first thing that we can do is to identify the organisms and decide whether they are producers or primary consumers or secondary consumers or tertiary consumers and so on. We classify them according to what they eat in the known trophic levels. Then we can count all the organisms in each trophic level in our chosen ecosystem, and with all that information we can represent a diagram that is known as a pyramid of numbers. In this pyramid of numbers, the producers are located in the lower layer and working up through the consumers' trophic levels. We give this name to this diagram because the shape is often of that of a pyramid with a very wide base, with many producers and fewer consumers as you move up in the trophic levels. But sometimes those numbers give different pictures. For example, a single tree, like this one, may support a large number of primary consumers, and in turn these are the food for various secondary and various tertiary consumers. So these numbers obtained of producers are different from a pyramid shape. In this case, the shape looks like an inverted pyramid or a pyramid with a very narrow base. But apart from the pyramid of numbers that basically is formed by counting the number of organisms in each trophic level, we can do something different. We can construct pyramid of biomass. What is biomass? Biomass refers to all the dry mass present in an organism, or in this case in a population or in a trophic level. When we consider the dry mass, we don't have to take into account the water content. So what is the dry mass? Everything that composes an organism except the water. We refer to carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, nucleic acid, vitamins, and all the mineral ions. Let's consider the same area, the same ecosystem, but this time let's estimate all the mass, the total mass of living material in this area over a certain period of time. With that estimation, we can construct a pyramid of biomass. Now let's compare two pyramids constructed from the same ecosystem but taking into account different type of information. In the first one, you can see the pyramid of numbers. One oak tree is represented in the lower area of the pyramid, but that oak tree, despite being unique, contains a lot of biomass that can support the rest of the trophic levels. It's quite difficult to calculate or to estimate practically the biomass, because in a way living organisms must be killed and burned to calculate all the mass they contain. But doing certain calculations, taking into account the number of organisms, the growth rate, the mass, there is a quite good estimation to construct these kinds of pyramids. As with the number of organisms, we can represent values of biomass in a diagram. The producers will be located in the lower area, and step by step the following trophic levels represented in a food chain can be located. And finally, there is a better way to show how the energy is flowing in the ecosystem. We must remember this. When an animal, like a herbivore, eats a plant, or a carnivore eats another animal, each time the animal is taking in food, not all the matter can be used by that organism. The food material provides energy for the animal and food substances that the animal needs for growth, to repair tissues, for reproduction, for communication. The substances present in food are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals. So in this way, we can say that energy and nutrients are passed along the food chain or through the food web to organisms in higher trophic levels. How can we represent the amount of energy? First of all, we need to know the biomass. As we know the amount of energy contained in each gram of each biomolecule, with that information we can construct a pyramid of energy. Now take into account that, for example, the rabbit we are observing, this animal cannot obtain all the energy from the plants. Why not? Why they are not able to use all the parts of the plant? Well, because maybe the stems are very hard, or the nuts have an outer shell that cannot be eaten, or many components of that plant cannot be digested by the rabbit. So not all the energy from one trophic level can pass completely to the second trophic level. Apart from that, apart from the energy that cannot pass, the organism consumes the energy. The rabbit moves around, it chases for more food, it moves, it controls the temperature, it excretes, it loses energy by the process of respiration. So we can say that in each trophic level, the energy is used in different living processes. So not all the energy from one trophic level is available for the other. Scientists have attempted to estimate all the energy within a series of trophic levels up to the carnivores, and it's quite difficult to account for everything, but the estimation is that only about 10% of the energy passes from one trophic level into the other. So let's concentrate on this. A pyramid of energy always has a wide base, like a pyramid, because the producers need to accumulate a lot of energy to support the rest of the trophic level. In this picture, you can see that most of the energy is lost by which processes? Well, material that is not eaten by the consumers, material that is not digested by the consumer, most of it is released as feces, as waste substances, the energy consumed for movement, the energy consumed to drive metabolic processes, the energy lost as heat, and the energy lost in urine. So, despite all this loss of energy, there is still enough energy available to support at least some of the trophic level. So in this pyramid, you can see that from all the energy that enters the planet by sunlight energy, by electromagnetic energy, only part of that energy can be trapped by producers. The producers consume most of the energy, basically living, and the remaining energy that is available in their bodies passes to the primary consumers, and so on. So after this short explanation, you must be able to answer this question. Why are food chains generally short?